Bonjour, Kinamagi and Nene Ireland Indigenous, coming live with the studio audience on our next episode of My Math. Our topic today, multiply by two-digit numbers. The essential question in this lesson is, what strategies can be used to multiply whole numbers? You've seen us use area models. You have seen us learn how to multiply by multiples of 10. You've seen compatible numbers and rounding. You've seen a standard algorithm for multiplying by a one-digit number, and today you'll see it multiplying by a two-digit number, and it's a standard algorithm. For much of today's lesson, I'm going to be back and forth between the textbook and my whiteboard here. Always a good tool for practicing. And I'm going to ask my studio audience to give me a three-digit number. So 347 times 56. Miigwech. So thank you to Spencer, my studio audience. 347 times 56. This is our ones, our tens, our hundreds. I'm going to begin by going 7 times 6, which is 42. Put a 2. I regroup the 4 because I cannot put 42. That's a two-digit number. Can't put it in the same column. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 4 is 28. I'll regroup the 2. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 2 is 20. Now we get to this 5. And you'll notice that automatically I put a 0 there. And that's because this isn't a 5. This is a 50. It's a 5 in the tens place. So I'm multiplying by 50. And if you remember earlier in the chapter, anytime we multiplied by a non-zero followed by zeros, we just counted the zeros and put them here. So essentially, I'm now going to go 347 times 5 times 10. So that's where that times 10 goes. That's 0. And now I'm going to go ahead and start going across. 5 times 7 is 35. Put a 5, regroup the 3. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23, the 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. At this point, I'm done up here. I'm now into adding. 2 plus 0 is 2. 8 plus 5 is 13, so I put a 3 in the tens place, regroup the 1, because 10 groups of 10 are 100. 1 plus 0 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 7 is 9. And 1. 19,432. It's really important to keep practicing your math facts as you go through these lessons, as if we are struggling with simple multiplication, this does get difficult, and it'll be difficult when we do the division. So let's get into our textbook. We'll begin with Math in My World, example basic. Page 137, lesson 10, multiplied by two-digit numbers. Example basic. Domestic cats can run up to 44 feet per second on land. At this rate, how many feet could a cat run in 12 seconds? Always look at your helpful hints on the page. By estimating first, you can determine if your answer is reasonable. So let's get my annotation tool. And my estimate of 44 times 10, well, 44 times 1 is 44, and I add the 0 for multiplying by a 10, I have 440. I'll start in the multiplying by the ones. 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 2 again is 8. Make it easy to us today. This 1 doesn't mean 1, it means 10. So I multiplied 44 times 1 times 10, so that's where that 0 comes from. And now 4 times 1, and then another 4 times 1. Now I add. Easy problem here. 8, 4 times, 8 plus 4 is 12. I put a 2. I will regroup the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. I get an answer or product of 528. If at any point when you're writing these down, if I'm moving too fast, please remember to pause the video and then restart it when you're caught up. You have that control when we're doing asynchronous learning. I'm going to clear my drawings. Let's check our answer key as soon as I get that exited out. You see how we did pretty well on that one. And you saw that the adding was the third step. And 528 and 440, those aren't too far off from each other. So I would consider those reasonable answers. Our next problem, 165 times 31. We're going to multiply the ones. And when we say the ones, remember that's the one in the second factor. And then we'll multiply the 10, which is the next number in the second factor. And then we add. Get my annotation tool here. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 1 is 6. And 1 times 1 is 1. If you remember, our identity property of multiplication, anytime you multiply by 1, you already knew it was going to be 165. Now I multiply the tens, which is really 165 times 3 times 10. So I'm going to put my 0 there to represent the times 10. And now I'm to 165 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. So I'll put a 1 up here. 1 is, now 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Put a 1 over here. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Let's go ahead and add. 5, 6 and 5 is 11. I'll put a 1 up here just to remember it. 1 and 1 is 2, plus 9 is 11. Put a 1 here. Put a 1 here. 1 and 4 is 5. 5,115. Make sure that's written in, and then we'll check our answer. I have a feeling we did pretty good. Our estimate would have been about 6,000, because 2 times 3 is 6, plus 3 zeros, 6,000. And let's check our work against the answer key as soon as I close that up. And we did pretty good. 5,115. Let's move ahead to our, we've already done that part. Let's move ahead to these 3 problems. I want you to write them down at home, and then we're going to check your answer. This is a point where if you're struggling, you really should approach me during a live stream or attend office hours, or schedule with me a second opportunity to reteach involving our own personal Zoom. I can also find you some pretty cool links if you're wanting a little extra help but don't want to spend too much time in a Zoom. And any of the things, whatever is going to benefit you best. I understand that this is a difficult skill. So go ahead and write these 3 problems down on something that you can solve them. And then pause your video, come back, and we'll go over answers. So you may pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 102 times 12. 2 times 2 is 4. Well, realistically, it's going to be 204 on the top row, and then 1020 on the next row. We add them together, 1224. This is where our knowledge of area models would be great, because 100 times 12 is 1200. 12 times 2 is 24. Put it together. This is going to be another similar problem. 56 times 1 is 56, plus 2 zeros, 5,600. 56 times 2 is 112. Put them together, 5712. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. So we have 24 across the top, 48 across the, 480 across the bottom. Add them together, 504. These are challenging skills to have. So again, if you're struggling, rewind, watch how I work through some of the problems, and then we can go from there. At this point, I'm going to ask you to start your assignment. If at all during the assignment you need help, please let me know. Um, if you're in person, I will be sitting right here. If you're, just in case you happen to watch this video and want to earlier than class and then choose to attend. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you at office hours, which will be on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 2 to 2:45, or I'm also available by appointment. So without further ado, have a mental Gijigad, Vama P.